What is going on, everybody? This is Bronco Juggalo.
And Bill.
And welcome back to the castle that King built.
You asked for it. You wanted it. You've got it. The Langoliers.
Yeah, have fun with that. Honestly, though, before we start, we both got to say that we actually were a little more entertained than both of us than the last time we both watched this movie.
Yes, I'll admit that. I was more entertained.
For a while. Now, this is a 1995 miniseries from television, and in its movie form, it runs approximately 3 hours. It was directed by Tom Holland, who did the original Child's Play, and I just am curious how he goes from directing a killer movie like that to this. But
I don't know.
It stars Patricia Wittig and Dean Stockwell. On a red-eye flight, most of the passengers and the crew, all of the crew, have disappeared.
They're gone.
There's 10 remaining passengers that were asleep, and they got to figure out what happened and have to survive what is coming. Yeah, that's about as basic as it gets.
Yeah.
This was filmed almost entirely at the Bangor Main International Airport. A little bit of it was filmed in L.A.
Good old LAX.
There's lots of King tropes in both the movie and in the book. You have a lot of stuff that he has. You have psychics. You have writers. You ever notice in a lot of King books and stories, he always has writers.
Oh, he always does.
And there's always a crazy guy in like every book. There's always one guy that just goes nuts.
Yeah.
And it's just absolutely crazy. In fact, the crazy guy is probably my biggest pro in this film.
He was entertaining, wasn't he?
Yep.
But first of all, have you read, and this is a short story, I believe. Not
a short story they turned into a 3-hour fucking movie.
Yeah. I have not read it. Have you?
No, yes, I have read The Langoliers.
Okay.
It is a decent, it's a pretty decent novella. I like the book. There is not really a lot of huge, like recognizable, memorable differences between the movie and the book. The only thing that's, and it's been a long time. I haven't read the book since I was like, I don't know, 14 maybe. So it's been a long time since I've read it, so I really don't remember a ton about the differences. But I will say that it's a lot more descriptive in the book of what the Langoliers actually look like than what we get in the movie. And that is everybody's biggest, complaint in this film is that the CGI is absolutely fucking bunk. It's terrible.
Anywhere, and let's just start there. The CGI. Let's get this out of the way. Let's get the elephant in the room. Or the giant squid, whatever, out of the fucking way here.
Absolutely terrible. And this was 1995, where CGI is not great, but they have done some good stuff, like Jurassic Park, which was a mixture of practical and some CGI. I think they could have put a little bit more effort into that. It's bad. It's probably some of the worst CGI I've ever seen in my life. At least until I watched that amazing book a couple weeks ago.
The CGI, it's like, CGI was not in its infancy at this point in time. It had been around.
Yeah, since
the 80s. This is just bad. Everywhere it's used, it's horrible.
It's even worse than the Species 1 CGI. It's even worse than that.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Honestly, aside from that, though, there are some other bad points to the movie. First and foremost, it's very, very slow. They did not need to make this into a big old 3-hour, 4-hour miniseries plus commercials. You know, they could have chopped this down, movie to under 2 hours, and it would have been fine. It could have been a made-for-TV movie under 2 hours. I don't know why they did it into a miniseries and just put all this filler in there that we really didn't need. A lot of stuff that we didn't need in there.
It wasn't just filler either. It was the dialogue. It seemed like
they dragged it out.
Talking, and now all of a sudden I've had a brain aneurysm and I have to really think hard about the next thing I'm going to say.
Stephen King is a dialogue writer. That's his style. That's what he writes.
But you don't.
But it doesn't always.
Out.
No, that's what he does.
No. People are talking.
Yeah.
But they don't stop and pause while they're talking.
It's not just that. It's that they literally drag out like every word. They went word for word with half the speeches from the book. And it's like, you just don't need to do that in a film. In a book, it's one thing, but in a film, it'll lose your attention.
Especially when you're dragging it out longer and longer with pauses while you're talking in mid-sentence.
Yeah, it did really drag out the dialogue.
It did. Especially the guy from, he was in Quantum Leap, wasn't he? The dude from Quantum Leap.
His dialogue was just the worst.
Yeah.
My last con, we talked about the CGI. I still want to know who the fuck thought that looked good. When they watched that in post-production, were they going, all right, this is fucking awesome? Who said that? I want to know.
Well, I think maybe something like LSD was involved.
Who knows? My final con, though, is that they kind of cram the romance into the book. Or into the movie. It's in the book, but in the movie, it's almost like they put it as an afterthought between our main female and our main male character. And they just kind of threw it in there as an afterthought, and it just didn't really feel like it was organic, and they had no chemistry together.
It didn't work.
It did not work for me at all. It was really bad. That's all the negatives I have. So if you ain't got nothing else negative to say, getting into things that
are positive.
Are positive, yeah. At least the first hour of the movie, very creepy. Starts off really creepy.
That is what I was going to say.
A really creepy atmosphere. At least for the first hour when they're on the plane before they land.
Yeah.
It's very creepy. They're trying to figure out what's going on. And especially like the first 10 to 15 minutes where everybody's disappeared and they're finding bits and pieces of people.
Yeah, like pacemakers,
anything inorganic that came out of their bodies.
It's there. You know what that reminds me of with the whole thing there? I'm trying to think. Hold on. Phantoms.
Okay.
Phantoms. That was the same thing as Phantoms, but they're not being digested by some weird creepy thing.
Well, we don't know that for sure. They never did say.
They never did, but they just disappeared.
Yeah.
All right.
The blind kid searching the plane, that was pretty creepy.
Oh, it was. That would be especially creepy for somebody who's blind. I don't care if it's a kid or just anybody blind. This would just be insanely terrifying. Like, where did everybody go? Hello, somebody! I mean, I would feel bad for anybody that was blind that had to go through that. I really would. So, I think we both have this pro for this film, and that's the business kid.
Business kid?
Getting to the meeting.
You mean the business guy? Yeah.
Yeah.
I was going to mention him next. He's my final pro. He cray-cray.
Cray-cray?
Cray-cray businessman. He cray-cray.
Cray-cray. He's cray-cray.
He cray-cray as hell. He's crazy. He's fucking nuts.
He was great, though.
Entertaining as shit.
He was great. I have to get in me. I have to get there. What's wrong with you?
And when they got him all tied up and he's still rambling, going off about stuff, and then he gets loose and he's stabbing people, and we almost get like kind of a slasher film going in the middle of the movie.
Yeah.
He was the best part of the whole fucking movie, in my opinion. I like him.
He was great.
He was fun.
He's out in the middle of the tarmac, and they're like, what is he doing? Because he sees like this board of directors and everything. I blew it. I lost all this weight. Ha 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 ha.
Kept talking to his imaginary father, and
who thought he was the hugest loser ever.
That's pretty much it for this movie, guys. Overall, it wasn't as bad of an experience as we both remembered.
Yeah,
but it is still extremely long, extremely dull.
Too long.
And the CGI just totally blows this film. It just fucks it up. So overall, it's not our favorite. Let's just say that. I guess you guys wanted it. Here's our honest opinion. That's it for us. Bronco Juggalo out. Peace.
Phil saying, this is why I fucking hate CGI. Good night.
Night Stalker, the Day Walker, Nosferatu, an angel's doctor, a feared monster. I've clearly conquered your ears, bonker and catch fades and reveal imposters. A weird observer, a near-death experiment, a spike flogger, beta blocker, you faking.